You got to keep the propaganda going, Brennan. And I'm going to tell you now. Now, watch this. He said they suffer in America. How's now? I'm going to break it down, but how is that statement, Brennan? Did Mexican people suffer in America?
Were they enslaved? Were they forced to work?
No. All right, I'll break it down. What happened is, this happened to every group except for black people.
Okay.
You got in a fight. Mm-hmm. All right. The Mexican-American War.
Okay.
The Mexicans said, we don't like y'all. The Americans said, we don't like y'all. So we gonna fight. And who won the fight, Brady? If you had,
I don't even remember this war. We did. We would have to win.
So if you win the fight, Brady, who makes the rules once you win the
right? We do.
Okay, so you makes the rules once you win the fight. So if you got to operate on somebody else's rules, but you had an opportunity to fight,
right?
Can you complain?
No, you can't complain. That's part of war.
If you don't want to be in the territory, we could talk about the territory they took.
Correct.
Could you leave?
Yeah. Did we?
Brandon couldn't leave. Black people couldn't leave.
We couldn't.
You had to stay. So that's real suffering.
Correct.
Now, for the Mexican-American War, let's see what happened. The United States took over California. All right. Mm-hmm. So Brandon may not know, California had a lot of Mexican people in there, but they lost the war.
Okay.
They lost the war. All right, New Mexico. New Mexico had a lot of Mexican people in there, but they lost the war. Gotcha. Arizona, they lost the war. Nevada, they lost the war. Utah was part of the Native Americans. And Wyoming was part of Native Americans. And Colorado was Native Americans. Yeah. And Texas, they lost the war. So if you lose a war, the people who won make the rules.
Right.
But you still have free will. You could have left.
Right. They didn't enslave you. Yeah, they didn't enslave you after that.
So the suffering is a gray area,
That's fair.
So they did suffer a little bit because they had signs for no blacks, had signs for no Mexicans. That was true.
But why is it suffering for them? But when we talk about what happened to us, we kind of need to get over it. It's the past. Because
you're a Negro, Brother. Who cares about you? You right. Value. You didn't build this country. Right, you didn't contribute anything in this country. Mm. And you in third place.
We didn't invent anything either, because he was hinting at how they invented stuff. They try to take our inventions as well, but go ahead.
All right, let's see what we got here. Now, he said they are thriving. If you compare a third world country to the standard of living in United States, yes, they are thriving, but they barely over black people. It's a shame. Black people have been here for 500 years, and a person come over here since the 70s. They already got
right.
They all got more than us, but they are thriving compared to other countries. Now, Brandon, this is what gets me right here.
This hip hop.
They say they influence hip hop. Now, Brandon, I don't know, but describe a person that comes straight from Central America to America before being influenced. How do they dress, Brandon?
Like they're in their home country or home city. Like they got tight pants, got boots on. Like they're not in what we're into just because they're not exposed to what we're exposed to. So they see the world differently, and what's drip to them, what's cool to them is different from what it is to us.
Correct. When in the 70s, when hip hop was getting around, let me go say the Puerto Ricans was coming over. They was wearing neon colors.
Okay.
A bunch of tropical stuff. You know what I mean? Tropical colors. If you came in New York in the 1970s and you was poor, so they had to live around black people, they was gonna whoop your tail if you came in
with that on. And
if you came in looking like this,
right? So and that's why they adopted a lot of our styles so they can fit in, so they won't be targeted, because we're gonna roast you until you change. But that don't mean you created hip hop because you had to force and change your identity.
Correct. So you started to dress something like this. So the boys won't whoop your tail.
Correct.
You know, and before the social media, before reggaeton, I ain't never hear no rap style or hip hop style music in other countries. Never.
Right.
I just see the guys with the big old hats come in with the guitar. I've got the Marachi music. What's it called?
Moroccan, maybe. I don't know, but I get what you're saying. Like, they don't look up to what we were doing. They have their own culture, so they despise what we did, but they saw it start to roll into something else. So then they want to be present, be like, oh, we were there. We helped with the break dancing and the style, and we were taking pictures. And people they want to S on it when it's not working. But when hip hop really started taking off, that's when they started to grab on the coattails and ride that wave.
When you watch a lot of hip hop old footage, when you look around, they break dancing, they in the club, MCing. Right. That's what the rappers before it was the MCs who used to that turn into rap. How many? It looked like that whole crowd full of a bunch of black people to me, bro.
Right. It is. But they say Jamaicans created hip hop too, and they just like to discredit us when they know good and well that's an American thing. Like, that's a New York thing. Like, that's black culture. That's just what it is. It wasn't white people doing hip hop. It wasn't Latinos doing hip hop. I mean, y'all might have been present, but that's a black thing. That's black culture. A lot of our fashion is black culture too.
That is correct. So they was.
So was it Scottie Pippen? Because he act like it's
no. This ain't no
Randy
Pippen.
Brown. Is it Randy Brown?
Yeah, it's Randy Brown. Yeah, dog, that's an old day. Yeah,
it wasn't even Bill Cartwright. It wasn't. He wasn't correct.
Bill Cartwright was a sit. Nah, it ain't him. It wasn't in Steve Kerr.
Will Purdue, nothing.
The dagger in there. Right. It was the guy on the practice squad. Got it trained up.
Correct.
Now, Brandon, I'm about to do a history lesson for people. Now, I know. Excuse me. Hold on. I know I messed up. Hold on. We need to get to finish it all, because he's going to talk about Afro Latinas and also white Latinas. So let's hear what we got to say. Then we go talk about how all this stuff happened.
Okay.
You're just raised in New York City, and I'm just thinking, some of the things that you brought out and I'm thinking of DJ Tony Touch, and so many other people that have been so instrumental in things like culture and even in hip hop that I wasn't quite aware of just the influence there.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, we've been part of so many things. I mean, we're great inventors. We got incredible ingenuity, and we were part of the building of the hip hop culture. It is black culture, but we didn't assist. We did a Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan because we were there. We were the ones that photographed all those photographs you see of the beginnings of hip hop. That was us. The beginning of breakdancing, Crazy Legs invented the move. Graffiti. We were the instrumental purveyors of that art craft. So, yeah, that's what I go around America finding all this Latin excellence.
I got to tell you, John, after watching your series, I actually went and listened to Dizzy Gillespie's 1975 Afro-Cuban Jazz Moves, which was really a creation in New York City. And it had Machito.
Jazz music was black music created in the late 1800s.
It wasn't.
That's because strictly, they used to call it, they used to make fun of our music.
Right, that's what I said. They ain't like any of it. They ain't like any of it. But when it started taking off and is cultural or is sophisticated, now you want to try to claim it.
But let's get back to what we go about to say.
And Mario Bauzá. And I'm thinking that Tito Puente was brought into that band in 1942. And you talk about Tito and you talk about Celia. And also, John, it's so important that in Los Angeles, for example, where you speak to Gina Torres about being Afro-Latina and how many times Afro Latinos are double ignored.
Yeah. I think, white Latinos and white passing Latinos like myself get a break. Even though it's tough for us, it's tougher for our indigenous Latinos and our Afro Latinos. And I've always said that. And that's got to change. We got to fight for them and the vulnerable, the people who are vulnerable in our communities.
All right, Brandon. I'm about to talk about a little critical race theory. This before we get, you see this guy right here?
Yes.
Before he opened his mouth and looked at his name, you thought he was a white guy, ain't it?
Yeah, I did. And before this interview, he probably was on air as a white guy. He started rolling them all, doing all that. Now you on I bet they was like, hold on, I didn't even know that was part of you, because I guess he feels like he may be, and I didn't even know that was a thing. Like John Lake was almost say he's Latino and white, like, or you could have both. Like I just don't see it that way. I feel like it's the one drop rule where it is with black people. Like if you have, but why isn't that? Sounds like a double standard to me.
We go talk about critical race theory, but we're going to talk about in Central and South America. So let's explain the history. Let's explain the history. What makes up Central and South American people?
Okay.
So let's go back to 24,000 years ago, Brandon.